Hey there, welcome to the Landlocked Podcast, where each short episode we talk about strategies, experiences, and the tools to help you launch, grow, and scale your land investing business. Learn how to run your land investing remotely, find out ways to build consistency in your processes, and learn how other everyday land investors are winning so you can get to the next step closer to your land investing goals. And I'm your host of the Landlocked Podcast by Pebble, Jesse Kwong. Hey, how's it going? It's Jesse here from the Landlocked Podcast. Yes, we recently changed the name from REI Conversion to the Landlocked Podcast. Welcome. I've got a very special guest with me. His name is Damien. I'm going to introduce him. Damien, how are you doing?
I'm alive, excited, and full of energy.
Damien fell on my radar a while ago when we first started with Pebble, and this Damien is somebody that Kevin and I internally have talked about. He is a ninja. He does things that I was just telling him before the show. Why are you so crafty? And he's just a really creative, what I would consider as more of a creative land investor. But he does have a lot of structure to what he does, and Damien, you do a wide gamut of things, but we're going to really focus in on one thing specifically here today, and that's about infill lots. I am someone who does typically rural land. It's not, our formula that we go after infill lots. So first of all, Damien, how you doing?
Well, today is a great day. I just got off the lake fishing. I've caught quite good share of spotted bass, hybrid, and a couple stripers. So, man, I'm I'm through the roof right now.
I'm only laughing because that's the first interaction I had with Damien. He was on a poolside. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing after." I'm like, "Who is this guy? Like doing land, fishing, doing all sorts of just really creative stuff in land." And I will never forget your personality. Nonetheless, Damien, I want to thank you for all the support that you've given us here at with Pebble. So first of all, let's talk about infill lots. First of all, what is infill lots? Some of our listeners might not know that are brand new
For
to land.
sure.
What are infill lots?
Yeah, so infill lot is basically a residential lot that's inside of a neighborhood or a subdivision. So that's what we would typically call an infill lot. It's inside of a neighborhood, if you will.
I realize most people will know what infill lots are. I'm just up here in Canada. It's not a term where I'm familiar with. So when I first heard, I'm like, what the heck is an infill lot? So okay, cool. Now that we've got that figured out, why do you go after infill lots versus something like rural land? What is it about your past that led you into infill lots, and why do you like to work with infill lots?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think the reason I love working with infill lots is because one, you got a lot of repeat buyers. I kind of love that, repeat buyers. And I think two, the most important thing for me is about infill lots is they close very quick. Typically, as soon as title clear, that can be 3 days, 30 days, or 12 days, these builders will close on these lots. And me, I have a lot of people who've been in different markets and different cycles. And for me, I always kind of figured, hey, I don't want to get caught holding the bag. So basically, infill allows me to get in, get out without little money invested.
So you mentioned a couple of things there. First of all, the timeliness of things getting closed. Why do things get closed a lot quicker with infill lots?
Because of the price point of these lots, the price points are typically $10,000 to $50,000. There's usually more builders that want the lot than there's lots
Mhm.
available. So the buyer pool is huge, and uh, I guess when you're an expert wholesaler or you've been in the business a while, you can kind of set your terms to what you want, and either they honor it or they don't. And a lot of times they honor it because, again, at the end of the day, my job is to wow the seller with, my time and professionalism. And if I can close them in 2 days or 3 days and everyone else has promised them 45, 60 days, I call that good news they can use.
I love it. I love it. So you also talk about you have a lot of repeat buyers, and this is more likely with, I'm assuming, with infill lots than say rural land. Um, so, do you sort of just work like when I'm thinking about infill lots? Does that mean you're always hovering around the same pockets then?
Yeah, I would say yes, capital yes for me. The reason why I would say the advantage to hovering around the same pockets is because you build a team in that pocket. And you need contacts when you're doing infill. Like you need to know somebody at planning that's going to pick up the phone for you. You need to know somebody who can verify your utilities that's going to pick up the phone for you. So there's the ease of use when you've been in a market for like 4 years, or I've been in Charlotte, and my contacts, my resources. When I go to new markets, I'm pulling teeth trying to figure out my dispo strategy. I got a mean dispo strategy here in Charlotte. I love it. It works. But you go to different markets, it's different. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that, Jesse.
So when you're working out of pockets, I guess then you really have to know your pocket and find your pocket or that area that you're working out of. Can you sort of give somebody, someone like me? I'm starting off with land here, and I'm gonna just double check here, guys. My volume's a little bit on the lower side, but I'm gonna increase this a little bit. So if I were to jump into doing infill, like what should I, what are some of the signs that are it's a good area to work out of? What would you typically suggest when it comes to looking for a pocket like yours?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the key things you want to do is go on Zillow, and you basically want to target either that county or that city, and you want to pay attention to what we call the active to sold ratio. Okay, and basically what that means is, let me give you an example. If I went on Zillow and I put in for sale, I put in price 10, let's just say 10 or $100,000, and I put just land, and I put in Charlotte, North Carolina, it's going to say 19 is active. If I did sold within the last 12 months, it says 172 sold. So that gives me a gauge that there could be some demand warrant that I dig a little deeper and I pick up the phone and get on the phone with the people who's buying these lots. But that is one of the indicators, I would say, that there's a demand on a lot. Now, if you got 172 active and four sold, I mean, it's a no brainer. You don't go there.
Right, right, right. Okay, so you're using tools like that now to figure out your pockets. Now, should somebody start locally around them? Should they look beyond beyond their local area? What would you suggest for that, especially working in infill lots?
I would say you really want to partner with an expert. You got to get somebody on your team that can kind of help you not make a lot of mistakes. And I do a lot of JVs, infill lots nationwide with people. And you really want to kind of find somebody who's a little bit more advanced than you and try to add value to them in hopes of, they can kind of mentor you. But if you're brand new and you want to see if you're back out your market, I would say um, you're really going to need some tools to look at the data. Everything is data driven. I mean, everything I do is data driven. So I would say you will have to get some tools in order to properly assess whether that market is a good market to go in. And that other tool I was referring to was prop stream. That way you can see the sold comps, find the LLCs, skip trace them through the Secretary of State, and get on the phone and call the builder and say you're looking for opportunity to earn their business. You specialize in off market lots, and you want to see, do they have the capacity for any more lots in this area that they just purchased a lot at. So that's typically the process for someone brand new that knows nothing about infill, knows nothing about lots. Get on the phone and talk to people, which are your builders. They got your money. Okay, these builders have your money. So get on the horn and talk to those folks.
I hope you guys listening just wrote all that stuff down and hit the rewind button. Just copy down whatever Damien just mentioned there. I know Damien is not shy when it comes to talking to people and digging through his homework. So um, great. So finding infill lots and finding the areas now. have you sort of weighed the pros and cons between doing rural land and infill lots?
Yes, I have.
And
I've
what kind
attempted
of
to. Go ahead.
yes, what kind of pros and cons do you see, and what is it about infill lots that you like so much more about than rural land?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would say with rural land, for me, the pros is majority of the time the spreads are a little bigger than infill lots, in my opinion. I like rural land because you can get it probably pennies on the dollar, depends on which geographic area you're targeting. What that's the pros. Another pro about rural land is you can sell it on terms, so you can get a drip every month. You can turn it into a rental property, if you will. You can be very creative. Um, but I say the cons is sometimes it takes a while to sell. Okay. Another thing I don't like about acreage is a lot of it don't have utilities. Okay. And, yes, you can dig a well and yes, you can perk it for a septic. But again, that takes time and that takes money. So if the seller is not willing to do that, that will be a part of whoever is approaching this deal as a due diligence fee, if you will. Um, what the pros of infill lots, I would say, is one, there is a lot of opportunities for new people who's looking to generate income. I mean, because I have people who's finding lots right and left, brand new. I would say two, it's consistent. It's not like up and down, maybe. It's no maybe. It is what it is. The data is strong. Three, I would say is, consistent builders, consistent business. Some cons to it is you can run into a lot of title issues. That is
Mhm.
something, a title issue is basically when there is something on the chain of title, basically on the property, that clouds it, that is encumbers it. So it can be like a tax lien, it can be like a
Mm.
HOA lien, a mortgage lien. So them are some of the cons with infill lots. You just don't know what you're going to get until you pull a title, and sometimes the sellers are in denial. They have liens on them, and they
Ah.
didn't disclose it to you. And you thinking you got a grand slam, yay, and you get there and they got a judgment for 70,000 and the lot is worth 30. Ouch. Talk about
Gotcha.
ouch.
Oh man. Okay, so now here's another thought too. Uh, when we're thinking about infill lots, the first thing that comes to my mind is competition. Competition is going to be a lot more tough. Like you're gonna have a lot more eyes on those properties. What are your thoughts? How do you sort of wrap your head around competition, and what do you do to sort of mitigate some of that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, for me, this is a lifestyle. I hope this will be a lifestyle for other people. But I believe that I have what we call favor. Okay. And favor is when you get into an opportunity and you get favorable outcomes, meaning like someone was offered 60, you offered them 55, but they wanted to do business with you because they like you. So me, competition, I don't know what that is. I have favor, and I walk by faith and not by sight, and I believe what's for me is for me.
I know you're enjoying the show episode so far, but I wanted to let you know that if you are looking to build or scale a serious land business, perhaps a six-figure second income or eventually a seven-figure land investing empire, Travis King's company Land Investing Mastery has the most current and innovative education in the space. Travis goes beyond the traditional microflip that you might be familiar with and shows you how to 10x your deal size and execute on strategies like subdividing, portfolio takedowns, land sniping. We're talking six-figure per flip strategies. If you're getting your education from someone who isn't actively investing, you're more than likely going to hit some plateaus as you try to scale. If you want to learn how to avoid the saturated red ocean markets, skip over the small stuff, and learn how to become a boss land investor, then Travis is your guy. Travis has completed nearly 1,000 coaching calls in the last 2 years that I've known him, and he has his pulse on the market. He will tell you though, Land Investing Mastery is not a factory. They're a boutique agency built on transformational, life-changing results. You see, I'm in a really unique position, and I really mean what I've just said above. In fact, I get to speak to a lot of investors from all sorts of different education, training, coaching background out there, and I get a very good view of things from all the one-on-one demo calls that I've done. Now, you may want some social proof. Head over to pebblerei.com/Travis and check out Travis's wall of love on his testimonial page. And while you're there, you can also learn more about Travis's training programs and his exclusive mastermind. So simply head over to www.pebblerei.com/Travis for more information. I love it. Are you telling me that like your personality plays a role in this?
Absolutely. Yes. People love if you can bring joy. That's probably the key to my success is joy. You bring joy people ways, you're able to make them laugh. People love that. They gravitate to that. And I've just
That's
developed a knack over the years, of how to be short and sweet, but from the heart, where people feel it. I've had people say, "Oh, I felt that." I say, "Whoa, I don't know what you felt, but okay." Whoopsie.
you are you're definitely a very infectious personality. I know that from the get-go. That's why we love working with you as well. And that's really interesting. That's something that never gets told. Talked about is how important personality and salesmanship, and not even salesmanship. I shouldn't even use that term, but really, I mean, you're just an enthusiastic person. Like you really bring the enthusiasm into the room, and it's interesting to hear how that actually plays into a part of your strategy that is part of your business now, right?
Yes, sir. That is part of my business. It's a lifestyle now. I take it everywhere I go.
I love it. Um, what else should we know about infill lots? Again, I'm very green to infill lots. I don't know too much about infill lots. I mean, what is it? Can you sort of walk us through a typical, what does Damien do to buy and then sell? You don't have to reveal some things you don't want to reveal. Like, feel free to kind of walk us through what is that. I mean, is it even any different from me working in rural land? Can you sort of give us some milestone steps that you kind of go through to work on some of your properties?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, guys, real quick, my setup is Pebble, which is at the top. That's the number one applesauce. That's my direct mail. That's my bread and butter. Pebble. I love Pebble because I have 5,000 templates. I can play around with different templates. But long story short, I send a marketing piece to someone. These people respond. They go to Pet Live. Pet Live takes the call. The opportunity comes into my CRM. I use REI Reply. I have a trigger set up that says, "Hey, this is a lead." Okay. First thing I do is when that lead comes in, I go right back to Pebble. Number one, Pebble is helps me identify this property ASAP. Okay. No fumbling, no bumbling, no it's lost. I don't know. It's there. Okay. I identify the property. I look up the APN number. The good thing about Pebble is I have a street view inside of it. Okay. So when I have the longitude and the latitude, I can actually see the property. If it's landlocked, I can kind of see that if it's not. So I put eyes on the property immediately. Um, check four things I check for lots. I check the topography, utilities. Okay, very, very important. Topography, utilities, maintain road. Got to be on a public maintain road, no dirt roads. And I do peek at the deed. And I want to make sure these people ain't pick it up from an auction. If they did pick it up from an auction, it's all good because I know what to do with that. I know how to get title insurance for properties that was picked up via commissioner deed nationwide. Okay. If you want to know that plug, ladies and gentlemen, that's tax title services. Um, but that's pretty much, so I get a deal. And let's just say the people say they wanted 15,000. I run my comps and let's just say my comp came in at 25. I'll tell them I got good news. I was able to get $15,000 approved. I'll typically send them out a purchase agreement via dot loop, which is electronic signature. I already, before I lock this property up, I already have a buyer in mind. That's just because I work in a market where I know. So a lot of my deals are text message deals. They're not like I'm doing an email blast and all this old crazy. I text one person, "Hey, this available." They say, "Yes, let's run it." And let's just say 15 and 25. $15 is the purchase price. $25,000 is comparable of what the lot can sell for. Once I put it under contract, basically I use another agreement, which is called an assignment agreement, which allows me to sell it to the end buyer. And basically the assignment agreement spells out that they're going to pay me $10,000. I have to furnish a copy of my contract, my A contract, which is the purchase and sale. Send it to title work, and I just check the status of the title 1 week before closing. And as you can see, I'll make $10,000 assignment fee. The seller gets their 15, the builder gets his lot, and we had a win-win-win. So that's basically
So
how deal go.
you typically double close or wholesale your properties in. And is that typical with infill lots?
A majority of them, I would probably do an assignment. They're getting kind of tight here in South Carolina where I have to do a double close, but I don't like putting up my money if I don't have to. 95% of my deals are assignments. 1 piece of paper, 2 pieces of paper, and then my paper at the end.
I love it.
Yes.
Damien, listen, those of you guys are listening, there is this YouTube channel. It's called We Are Land Specialist. And I didn't know about this YouTube channel until people started coming to me about this YouTube channel. I'm one of those people that, I don't belong under one camp. I kind of have my ears open, and I keep hearing about this channel. So if you want to check this out, correct me if I'm wrong, Damien, it's We Are Land Specialist. And Damien does, he has his own podcast or interviews on there. Not only that, he really pulls you into systems. Like he shows how to use REI Reply to set up his follow-up messages. And, he goes in the weed. And one of the things I will tell you about Damien is he's just simply a really creative guy. Right before we hopped on this call, he was telling me about stuff with auctions, and I was like, what is Damien up to? This guy's just relentless and crafty. So make sure you guys check that out. We are land specialist. Not.com. That's his website. That is the YouTube channel. And then you also have a training program under wearelandspecialist.com. And make sure to also check that out. Damien, it's been a long time coming that I wanted you on this show, and I know you've always been so busy, and for me to finally catch you on here and for you to share a little bit about what you do with Infill Lots is I'm very thankful and really grateful here. I will let you know, I do know you're using REI Reply to set up your automations with messages. Let's just say that Pebble is on that. So do look out for that coming in soon to our system as well.
I said, yes, sir.
But Damien, is there any other things you wanted to share with our listeners here that I might have missed out when it comes to Infill Lots or even just creative investing in general?
Yeah, I would say, man, you can't do what everyone else do. You gotta be known for something, okay? And don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Find one thing, hyper focus on it, master it for a couple of years, then move on to something else. That's what I would say to anyone who want to get into anything, whether it's business. Do one thing at a time. Please listen. You're going to do yourself a disservice. You're going to be oppressed, depressed, and all of the above because you're trying to juggle too many things. So whatever you want to do, master it first. Like spend a couple years, get good at it. And then once you're good at it, then you can go ahead and start doing other things. So that's really my 2 cents is hyper focus, literally.
Awesome. Damien, it's a pleasure to have you on this show. I want people to make sure to check out your channel. It's I think people will just even on the personality side, I think you're gonna get a good hit of Damien and understand how he approaches his lifestyle with land. Damien, once again, it's been a pleasure having you on this episode. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jesse.
Before you stop this episode or hit the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the Landlocked Podcast by Pebble. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate any awesome reviews or ratings on whichever platform you're listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this on other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up about the Landlocked Podcast or the specific episode that may help them on their land investing journey. Once again, thank you so much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.